It's 4 a.m. in the morning, and understandably, I'm feeling tired. Whenever my alarm goes off for an early morning adventure, I hear a little voice in my head telling me to just go back to bed. But then I remind myself, it's what you do in the dark that puts you in the light. As I start to climb, so does my heart rate. I don't know if it's the adrenaline or the fresh air, but I start to come alive. As the darkness disappears, it's replaced with incredible views. I see places I've been visiting for decades and some that I'm still dreaming of. The sun starts to light up the sky and that 3 a.m. wake up feels like a no-brainer. The thing I've realized about getting uncomfortable is that the very best things in life are found on the other side of your comfort zone. My name is Derek Juno, and this is The Spirit Loop. Each year I take time out of my schedule to do a solo trip, to reconnect with nature, unplug, and reflect on my life. This time around I'll be traveling the Spirit Loop, a journey through some of Vancouver Island's most inspiring communities. My journey today starts in Langford, a community that I grew up in. My old high school is no longer here, but in its place, Origin Bakery, a fitting location to start this adventure. Growing up in Langford, I spent a lot of my youth being active. Looking back, I think it's where I got my love for the outdoors and for competitive sports. It's amazing how being active has positively impacted so many aspects of my life. One thing I love about Langford is how easy it is to escape into nature, to find some time to be alone with my thoughts. Midway through the day, I met up with my friend Castro, a staple of the Langford community and an incredible chef. We forage for local ingredients in the forest. I've lived on Vancouver Island my whole life, and I thought I was well versed in the flora and fauna, but Castro's knowledge was on a whole other level. Speaking to Chef Castro, it was hard to ignore the passion that he has for his craft and the city of Langford.
Literally everything on this plate is local. It's about taking what we get from the land here, Pacific Northwest, combining with the flavors and my culture from West Africa. You know, I always say, if anybody moves to the island, they want to live on the West Shore, because it is the best place out here to live. So we want to give them something that they're used to, but then we want to pull them in by making sure that the ingredients is actually coming from their neighborhood. I've lived in Scotland, I lived in Bermuda, I lived in Cayman Island, but I can tell you Vancouver Island is the top of that list. I wouldn't live anywhere else.
What we're doing here today, it's all about the Spirit Loop. And so I'm interested to hear your definition, your take on the spirit of Langford.
I think it's growth. Yeah. You know, it's bringing people together. Langford has welcomed so many different people from different walks of life and has really supported them. They've mapped it out and said, we want people to live here, we're gonna give them something to do and something to enjoy. The spirit of being outdoor is huge in Langford. Langford is really all about getting people out and enjoying this beautiful surroundings we have.
We have so much access to so much. It's insane. And like what you were saying earlier, not many people can have 10% of what we have access to all year round.
Oh yeah. I can't remember the last time I actually went into town. You know, it's...
You don't need to.
You don't need to. We have it all here now.
After our meal, it was time to set up camp for the evening. One of the best parts of traveling is seeing my old friends. Sharing stories and reconnecting with these guys was the perfect way to end day one.
Wire-haired Jack Russells are the most shitty Jack Russells of all the breeds.
The first day of the trip started with an adrenaline rush as I climbed Mount Finlayson for sunrise. But the second day started with a quiet reflection. A hot cup of coffee, the sounds of a waterfall, and a chance to decide what my body and mind were craving for day two. It's been a while since I spent time in Sooke, a community known for world-class fishing and a growing food and beverage scene. It seems like every time that I return, there's something new to explore, inspiring people to meet, and new flavors to try. After a great meal, I met up with my new friend Ryan to learn a little bit more about the spirit of Sooke.
As I get older, but I go traveling abroad, I realize really how lucky we are living in this place year-round.
When you finish the vacation, you're like, actually, I'm excited to go home.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Like everyone here just wants to make sure that you have a good time in our community, and they'll go the extra mile to make sure that you're connected with the right people, and that's going to show you the best experience. You know, we're a developing community, it's getting busier, but you can still go to a beach or find your spot in our community and have that quieter time, that peacefulness that we all need after our busy Zoom lives through COVID. Work is tough on people these days, and what a great experience, you know, coming out to Sooke and kind of getting away from that and finding your peace.
Every time I drive up the coast, I stop at Stoked, one of the best pizza restaurants I've ever been to. Arriving at Point No Point was like arriving home. A short walk down to the ocean, and I felt like I was transported to another world. It's pretty incredible to feel this disconnected only an hour from the city. Day 3, and all I wanted to do was get in the ocean for some surfing. But first, I needed to fuel up with breakfast at Surely Delicious, a must visit on the way to Port Renfrew. During my meal, I sparked up a conversation with a local named Marty, and of course, he turned out to be responsible for some of the art that filled the cafe. To me, some of the most valuable time on a road trip is actually the uninterrupted time on the road. It gives me a chance to reflect, something I don't always allow myself to do in my day-to-day. I swear there's nothing better than breathing the fresh forest air while walking through hundreds of mossy trees. Yeah, the waves weren't great that day, but sometimes surfing can be a good reminder that the journey is more important than the destination. Port Renfrew, a community that has grown while staying true to its roots. I met up with Greg for lunch at Bridgman's and got a few local recommendations for the afternoon. After walking on Botanical Beach, that feeling of childhood wonder came flooding back. Tide pools big enough to swim in, the towering rock formations, eagles flying overhead. You know, you start to feel very small in the grand scheme of things. That evening, I checked into my room at Wild Renfrew. With views like this, you start to wonder if you're on the edge of the earth. Anybody that you mention Port Renfrew to is always going to bring up Johnny Mac, also referred to as the unofficial mayor of Port Renfrew.
What brought you to Port Renfrew and what's keeping you in Port Renfrew? That's what I want to know.
What brought me is the fishing, the wilderness, the beauty of getting out of the big city. Everyone that lives here full time, like we're one big family. We know our neighbors. We say hi to everybody. Salt water, fresh air, Vancouver Island. Like it is the best place on earth as far as I'm concerned.
The last day of the Spirit Loop. A classic Port Renfrew morning. Rain or shine, it always seems so wild and truly West Coast up here. I loved watching the fog roll through the landscape as I worked my way south towards the Cowichan Valley and the Malahat region. The scenery began to change dramatically, from winding roads and misty forests to sunny farmland. I met up with a local First Nations carver, John, to visit the Yoss Pole and learn about his people's connection to the land and region. Growing up on the island, it's easy to take so many of these destinations for granted. Places like Marydale Cider, an active orchard and cidery that feels like a world-class destination while being so close to home. I met up with Janet to learn more about the region.
We have so many people in this valley that have come from other walks of life, and they're here because they've made the choice. They want to change their life, and with them comes a story.
Yeah.
They are full of color. They are very colorful individuals, and a good portion of the time, if you walk into the tasting rooms or into the storefronts, into the restaurants, you're very often going to see the owner, and you're very often going to be able to have a chat with them. You come over here and you will be transported into this really laid-back kind of place where you can slow down.
Island time.
Island time. It really is island time, and you can stay in Langford or stay somewhere in the Cowichan Valley and then spend your time going around this route that you will find that there is so much to see. And you take your week's holiday and you make sure you stay there for that week's holiday because you're going to find little treasures all along the way that are just going to blow your mind.
I think one of the things that's most important with life is protecting time to not work just in your life, but on your life.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I think when people are able to kind of do that with travel, you know, don't just like do the stereotypical holiday, but like take some time to like really take something in.
Yes.
It's really rewarding.
The Spirit Loop that you're calling it, it's for the person that really wants to take a deep dive. Mm-hmm. It's for the person who really wants to experience. Mm. And the person that wants to do that, they're going to find that this route shows them more of that than just about anywhere in the world.
You know, Janet was right. I've grown up in these communities, but just by taking some time to do the Spirit Loop, I found so many treasures in the people and the destinations. It gave me an even greater appreciation for the island, these amazing communities, and the wonderful people that live here. Going back to my normal life, I felt recharged and ready to take on whatever challenges would come my way. I felt alive and connected to the spirit of the West Coast.
Watching you walking out and into the feeling. And it's setting. Everything's saying to me that it's setting for always.